The repetition is what really gets me. In the sense of, like, it understands me. These people, they're always out there looking for something new. Oh, seen that movie, heard that sonata, worn that corset before. Dazzle me, sweetie. And they're just bouncing from one dazzle to the next razzle, and it sounds exhausting to me. I never really got it. I mean, I grew up around these people. My whole family, my grandma, oh, perpetual thrill seeker. I'm talking, she had a roller coaster built inside of her own thumb. She went in there, crawled in under the nail, and the sign said, "You must be me tall to ride." Went around the roller coaster one time, said, "That was fun." Grabbed the nail clippers and tore it down. And I'm like, "Grandma, that was a marvel of magic, science, and amusement park engineering. The hell is wrong with you?" And she's like, "It's an old hat." I don't know why everything's hats with people. Like, have you ever noticed when you go to the dentist and you're like, "Hey, Dento, what's wrong with my teeth?" And he's like, "Needs more hats." They start trying to stitch baseball, well, just various types of baseball paraphernalia. It's not even always hats. It must be like a metaphor. No, it's not even a metaphor, because sometimes it is hats. It's just them being lazy. You walk out of the office, all sorts of Mets merchandise dangling out of your mouth. It is good for your teeth, but it's just so, like, my mouth's different now. Thanks, buddy. I don't want change. Whenever I go out to the restaurant and I order my pate on rye, side of creme brulee marmalade on top of a bed of corned beef hash and pickled chestnut mustard, and they say, "Hey, you sure you don't want to be someone who doesn't do that?" I always give the exact same scornful look to whichever one of these jokers they sent out to wait on me this time, and I tell them, if that's what I wanted, that's what I'd have did. You don't get to tell me how to live my life, Aunt Sally. And very rarely is the wait staff on Sally, so that's their cue to leave me alone. I don't know, I tip well, I think that makes up for it. But new dishes are getting invented all day, every day. These molecular gastronomists can't stop, they've got a problem. Intense therapy for just the whole human family is the only solution. Family counseling, except it's everybody at once except for me, because I've got it figured out. You have a good day. Imagine this for me. And if you're anything like everybody, maybe it's been a while, but you have a good day. Just, thought experiment. You have one of them. The good ones that are days. What do you do the day after? Without fail, something different. If you don't feel gray matter squirting out of your eyelashes on that one, then I just don't know if we're ever gonna be able to relate to one another. Why change it up? You nailed it, buddy. Imagine if you try this stuff in math class. Yesterday, 2 plus 2 equaled 4, but today I got a real good feeling about 16. What if paintings were that? Buy one, put it on the wall, and it's a pretty picture of, like, a fantasy princess wearing braids in the shape of a dragon. The dragon's breathing fire, and the fire turns into the curtains behind the princess. And then the next day you go, "Oh, but I've seen this painting before." In best case scenario, you go over and you just, I don't know, you draw an extra chin on the princess. Worst case scenario, you go out and commission a totally different artist who does Civil War reenactments except paint. And then all of a sudden, you got Ulysses S. Grant with a beer bong kicking Robert E. Lee in the chest with one foot while the other one just kind of flexes its toes into a real provocative kind of come hither toe motion. Jefferson Davis in the background shaving off all his body hair with a bayonet and praying to Vishnu to come and steal away his left eyeball. Hang that one up instead. Chuck Dragon Princess out a frickin' window. Then somebody else who's bored of their painting of a Welsh farmer looking disappointed at the harvest, he comes by and he's like, you know what? I could get down with fantasy princess dragon fire curtain braid lady painting for about 12 hours. That would be charlatanry. Oh, but you're reading different books now. You like the last book you read? Oh, what was it about? Oh, it was a murder mystery. I bet the souffle did it. What's your favorite book? Oh, is it that book? No, it's not. Why'd you read it then? Look, I get it. You're afraid. Who isn't afraid? Afraid of everything. Everything's terrifying. You ever look up at your ceiling in the middle of the night and you can just see the faintest bit of the texture of the stucco or the water damage from the time there was the flood in the apartment above when they tried to put their hair in the garbage disposal after shaving their head in a fit of just general unhappiness because they lived too many days that weren't like their best day. Gosh, wonder how that happened. So they're like, guess we're shaving the head now. They weren't sure what to do with all the hair. They know there's charities where you can kind of pawn that crap off. But those are far away. The garbage disposal's right there. And all of a sudden you have water damage. And you liked it better when there wasn't water damage, but they're not going to let you go back to how it was because that's not how science does it. And your landlord, he has extra ceilings. You know he does. You can see it in his eyes. You can see that greedy, ceiling hoarding, conniving little monster that lives inside of him, that whispers not into his ear, but at the eardrum from inside the ear, saying, "Keep the ceilings. They're yours. Those are for you. Aren't you sick of your current ceiling? You can swap them out every day. No one needs to know." So you're looking at that water damage or that stucco, and you could swear you see... you could swear you see Grandma's face in it, and it's been so long since you've seen it that for just a flicker of a moment, it reminds you of one of those good days that the passage of time and that the cruelty of the flow of endless change have taken from you. But then you look away for just a second, you change. You know you're trying not to do that, but you change the angle of your eyes, and then when you look back, it's not Grandma anymore. You blink a few times and you twist your head in different directions and try to make it be Grandma again, but it's not. And maybe it never was, and maybe Grandma was never Grandma, and maybe nothing was ever what you thought it was, and all of a sudden you're spiraling. Look, everything's terrifying. And maybe the thing that terrifies you most is that you'll squeeze the last bit of life out of the last thing you love, when everything else has lost its spark. But there's that one book that meant so much to you when you were growing up, and you want to feel that again, but you don't read it. And you don't read it because you're afraid it won't be as good this time. And it just, that one pass, that one read through where it doesn't mean quite as much to you will just, flick the booty of all the joy built upon that memory. And then the memory and the joy will go and fall down and hit their tailbone against the pavement. And the vibrations will channel through the entirety of the body, and there will begin a slow dissolution, a breaking apart into pixels, like a defeated boss in a Super Nintendo game. And then you'll truly be left with nothing. Learn to let go of that fear. That's a change you should pursue. Get yourself to the point where when somebody asks you how your day was, and you tell them, same as yesterday, that's a good thing. Make it exact. Down to the shape of the lettuce on your sandwich. Let go of this endless pursuit of novelty. It's gotten you this far. You happy with this?